Alex de Vesuviu Eminizio.
Enemies marked south. It's not smash the camera. Take my life, I ain't everything goes miss. Just keep it one again, like this. You can keep it check. My bar, I never thought to
Just wait for the song to end, they said. It's Sunday chill out time. I ain't got time. Welcome back, everybody. It is episode 281. Today would be a Sunday. It is 8 o'clock, or just gone 8 o'clock on the 19th of October. Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a good weekend, or have had a good weekend. The weekend's over. And then it's going to be back to normal. Not much left in October, I will say. It'll soon be Christmas. So welcome back, everybody. I hope you're all, like I said, having a good weekend, or have had a good weekend. We're going to take a look at a couple of things I've been doing. We didn't do a show yesterday. I like to take a break every now and then. And there may be more breaks in the future too. So watch out for that. So let's slide over to the laptop real quick. We got the laptop here today. So what have I got? Well, loads of stuff. Let's just be honest. We got loads of stuff. Slept all weekend. Yeah, I was sleeping a lot this weekend as well, but thankfully managed to get a lot done. So let's get out of this for a second here. Here we go. Okay. So Bunraku, awesome, works, great. Taking a pause from the 3D stuff. I was going to do this 3D game jam this weekend, and at midnight last night we hadn't even started. So I'm probably going to do it next weekend now. Didn't even start. Do you know what I mean? Didn't even start. We were doing a bunch of other stuff. So let me explain what we've actually been doing. Okay, let's give you the rundown. So let's say hello to everybody in the stream before we get into it. Full Dive, hi. How are you doing today? I feel jet lagged, but I'm running. Dragon's also been sleepy today. Let's see. Full Dive Media says, yeah, that's suspiciously close to the answer an Android will give, but it'll be too late when you answer with all functions running optimally. I could have just said you're being rate limited. Dragon says, I'm tearing Dream Omni 2 apart now to fit in comfy. Interesting. Gorav says, this song has many problems. Hello, Gorav. Welcome to the show. Fernicar says, Battle Cruiser operational. Liked and subscribed. Now, where were we? And Dragon says, I slept all weekend. Yeah, not feeling well again. Poor Dragon. Hope he gets better. But to be honest, I've just been up too late, too many days. So I'm just going to sleep early again, and I'll be fine tomorrow. But yeah, essentially, I got a whole bunch of stuff done, guys. So where to start is the honest truth. Where to start? Now, I don't want to be like, we're not. This is a chill out stream. We're not going to go crazy tonight. Let's see, did I miss something? Did someone just say something as soon as I finished reading it all? No. Okay. Excuse me. So as you know, I've been working on Nexus Voxel, right? Which is my 3D graph for doing data exploration, organization, all that good stuff. Still in development, still adding new features to it. I'm just seeing about my other machine here. See, over on the laptop over here, what we've got, I mean, you can't see it on the screen right now. But I think I'm about ready to show off Blast Off, which was only started last night. Yeah. NM3 import. Okay, so I'm just starting a phase over on the other side, see? I'm in the middle of, I shouldn't start the phase yet. We should demo that. All right. Everything in its own time. I was just looking at my laptop to see if it was worth showing off what it's doing or starting it now, and it looks like I should really show, because I need to get what phase 3 looks like. Anyway, it'll all make sense. I'm sure it'll all make sense. The first thing I'm going to show you is 3D Web Search NM3. We're going to install the release version of this. And it's a new desktop application. It's for perplexity search, but it's built as a tool to go with the new tool I'm working on. This is a tool which uses the same file format standard. So essentially a web search for the graph. And you'll think, well, why didn't you just put it in the app? What do you mean virus detected? Windows, I made it. It's fine. Do you know what? How dare you? Virus detected. Right, give me a second. You guys are fuck Jobsworths, the lot of you. Right, what is this? Virus detected. What are you talking about? I get professionally annoyed. What are you talking about? No, like, oh, do you want this? Just block it. Listen, undo. How about that? No? See, and now I deleted it. Sorry, guys. Well, what is this? We're 16 minutes in and I'm getting wobbly with Windows again. Goddamn Windows. Useless. Toothless. Weak. Alright, let me just see if I can find this thing. It's just annoying. Normally it should ask me, look, no threats found. No threats found. Alright, so, alright, okay, so I guess you can't do it, because, yeah. Right. Let's try it again. Virus detected. Is this the new Windows 11 feature where they don't let you not download it if it decides it's a virus? Right, that's it. I've had enough of this. Where's my security center crap? Security center. It doesn't even do that. It doesn't even do that. It doesn't make your computer secure, so I'm not sure why. Right. Turn it off, you useless. Why have I got to turn off account protection to download my own stuff? That's Chrome, not Windows. All right. Listen, I've got more browsers on the machine. We'll go for the next available browser. Not that one. That's not a browser. That's Spotify. Right. Give me the next available browser, please. Download the file. It's probably also Chrome, though. They're all Chrome now. They just rebrand everything as not Chrome, but actually it's Chrome. You know? Let me just see. It's all bloody Chrome. It's all been Chrome for a while. Bloody useless. Yeah, so anyway, if I tried to go to GitHub on a different browser, it's just cycling forever on the download bit. I tell you what, mate, it's a hard life, isn't it? It's a hard life. Firefox. Give me Firefox. Firefox will... No, I don't... Right. They need to learn that we don't want to make you their primary browser all the time. They need to learn this. Right, download it. Do I get to keep it? Firefox, everybody. Firefox. Doesn't have tin foil on its head. Recommended. I'm sure a lot of you already know, but that's outrageous and embarrassing, that is. What, have I got to ditch Chrome because it can't download files? Trash. Absolute trash. This is another reason why we're doing a chill out Sunday, because my patience is running low. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, I don't download files. What's this now? Oh, okay, so, all right. Next problem, yeah? That's not what I'm trying to download right now. This isn't even what I'm looking at. This isn't even the right file. So, wait a minute. Did it download it? Wait a minute. Wait. Hang on a sec. Where did you put... File moved or missing. Okay, so... So we've got an issue. And that issue is definitely Windows. It's not the browser. Look. See, Firefox downloaded it, and then the file was immediately moved or missing. So this is Windows security in a nutshell, my guy. I know you say it's not, but it's pretty clearly is. There's no way that all the browsers remove the file when you download it. It's useless. Like, GitHub has scanning. So, like, if I uploaded virus to GitHub, it would have not let me or removed the file, surely. What do you mean, give you the link? It's right there, mate. Here, look. Let's start at the top, because everyone's sleeping like me today. Look. Mushroom Fleet. Repo. Latest repo, 3D web search, NM3. Right there. I don't need to give you a link. It's literally like the second repo on my account. And if, like I said, I go to releases. See, I bet you if I download the source code, it's going to be fine. But it's just shitting. It is all over the floor, yeah, because it thinks there's a virus. You know? Trash. Okay, right. Sorry, guys, we're going to have to do some stuff. Tell me how to disable the stupid virus protection on Google Chrome. Stupid virus protection. They've probably hidden it in, like, the basement in Alpha Centauri with a sign that says disused on the door. Or broken. And it's flooded. Okay. Go to Chrome, privacy security, under safe browser. Look, not recommended. Yeah, well, if it's broken, it's toast. What's the point? There's no point. There is no point. If you give me a shovel and it can't dig, it's not a shovel anymore. It's just a stick, mate. It's not even like, you can't download files with a web browser? What am I here, just to look at stuff? Disgusting. Okay. Go to security. I don't think I'm actually overreacting either, because this is the sort of crap we have to deal with. You're just not allowed to use the computer anymore. Sorry, mate. That would be the last straw. That would be the last straw. All we wanted to do was play video games and so on. You know, that's all we wanted, but you're not allowed. Right. Okay. Before I start a cult, I think I'm going to have to get back on track here. So this is ridiculous. All right. I didn't come here to live stream Google Chrome being a dick. All right. Privacy and security. Security. Yeah. Standard protection is what it's got. I wasn't even on enhanced, guys. That's not even enhanced. That's just normal protection. So I have to turn it off. Yeah, well, you give me no choice. Right, now can I download the file? See, I'm going to prove it's not Chrome, right? Because this is the stupid thing. It's going to be Windows. Because remember, we just had a new Windows update, guys. Do you have the new Windows update, Dragon? You know, the latest Windows 11 update. Do you have that? Because you're always going on about how you don't do that. But downloaded fine for you is a signal, at least, I guess. Virus. It's just an Electron build, guys. I literally made it today. So, no, not a virus. Virus detected. See? So that means it can't be Chrome then, surely. How can it be Chrome? How can it be Chrome? It's not Chrome. I'm just going to look at something else in a minute, because this is the kind of derailing I expect from modern computers. It's just, you know, baked in incompetence going right the way down to the machine code. You know, from the assembly all the way up to the application layer, just baked in incompetence. It's just what it is. Like, this will be a false flag, but they've removed the ability to override the false flag. So then it's like, well, you know, you think it's a virus, it's not. I'll never get the file. Turned off all blocking of files in Windows. Let me get the settings. A switch flip. Well, if it's a switch flip, I'll flip it. But look, virus detected. This means that there is See, Windows Attachment Manager. What's that? What's Windows Attachment Manager? So here we go. Go to iNet CPL, yeah. All right. This is ridiculous. I didn't come here tonight. I came here for a chill out stream, not to work for free. Oh my God. Yeah. Right, so it makes me look at this, which is the Windows Internet Properties, which, if you remember from Windows 95, hasn't changed much. Yeah? So clearly they've been buggering about in the Internet Properties again. Security, Internet, custom level. What? This is so stupid. I don't run any custom settings here, guys. So yeah, custom level, security settings, downloads, file, download, enable. This is it. It's Windows, not Chrome. I can't blame the browser when it's Windows. See, I initially suspected Windows, but I'll blame Chrome quickly, just like everyone else. But I need to prove it, which I couldn't prove it. So downloads, security settings. Download. It's just called downloads file download. What? I probably went past it, didn't I? No, there it is. Look. So downloads file download enable. Well, that doesn't help. Oh my God, have I got to edit my registry now? This is an actual Microsoft guide from Microsoft.com. You may receive a virus detected. This is usually caused by antivirus software, which I don't have. I don't have antivirus software, so it's just Windows. If you're confident, you can temporarily disable it. Oh, shame you can't do that with Windows. So wait a minute. Protection. I hate Windows so much. It used to be a good piece of software, but this is just more reasons to get Linux, in my opinion. This is just more reasons to get Linux. Like where are the settings anyway? This is settings. This is settings. What's that? Useless. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. It's like pulling teeth out. I'd rather be pulling teeth out right now. I would rather be pulling teeth out right now. This is why I train. This is why I came into the AI space, by the way, because this is just, ugh, what the hell? I got to hack my own machine to fix your update. Disgusting. Look in Discord. I put the settings there. Let's see what you got. You didn't DM me. So I don't know what channel you're talking in. General? Yeah. Okay. Threat protection, Windows security, threat protection, add exclusions for EXE. Are you kidding me? Do you know how stupid... Look, it's not your fault, Dragon. But do you know how stupid that is? Yeah, I'm just going to put a .zip.exe whitelist. So why even bother having security then? That's everything on the machine. Yeah, I see what you're saying, dude. It's not your fault, but that's terrible. Like, here, look. Let me just explain. I'm kind of glad it's Sunday chill, because I don't have a bunch of stuff which isn't getting shown. But this idea here, yeah? Why do I even have security if I'm going to turn off security for EXE? That's the security. What else is it for? Seriously, what's it for? What's the security for, though? If I turn it off, what's it for? That basically means I don't have any, which is like, so to use the computer, I've got to turn off all the security? This is stupid. So here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the scan with antivirus. Okay? And we're going to make it so he just doesn't scan, because I'll decide what I download, actually. If I want to download something and it wrecks my machine, that's on me, right? but like, because I'm not gonna do that. But this is the reason. Like, you know, what do I have to do here? I got to go into regedit to download a file, because your solution would work, Dragon. But it's like that's every single exe ever. I've got to remember to turn that back off again and stuff. I'd rather try and get this. So, don't ever touch this if you don't know what you're doing, guys. And if you see my computer like melt in the next 5 minutes, it'll actually be a good lesson. So software, Microsoft. Come on, where's Microsoft? Yeah, because I just don't think it's practical to disable security entirely. Because, you know, I just don't scan exes. Like, what else does it scan? Honestly. I know there's other stuff. I know I'm being reductive, but I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed at the ridiculousness of not being able to download my own zip file. What the hell, guys? I've got it on this machine. It's clean. A virus. Disgusting. So, yeah, false flags be what they are. That's, you know, not much you can do about that, but... No Microsoft in current user, mate. And there's no Microsoft... Current user... Software. This is wild. There's no Microsoft in there, my guy. That's Adobe. Come on, find Microsoft. Was it open from last time? Microsoft. There it is. Microsoft Windows. Windows. Current version, policies, attachments. No attachments. Alright, so I guess I've got to make it then. And it will be, well, it's a D-word 32, but I need a new folder first. Well, I guess it'll just make one. Yeah, new key. Right, and we'll call it attachments. Because the thing is, I am not in the habit of downloading stuff off the internet that I don't know what it already is. Use an external app like Fast Download Manager with browser extension that bypasses the browser. Bullshit. Yes, I would do that. However, I think we proved it wasn't the browser in the end, because Firefox did download it and the file was being removed by Windows file systems. So that's where we're at. So, yeah, attachments, new D-word 32, and it's going to be scan with antivirus. Okay, yeah, scan with antivirus. And then we're going to change the value, to 1. Okay. And now, implosion. Right. Log off and log into Windows to make the change take effect. Right, here we go, guys. It's time to say goodbye to my computer. It's all over. It had a good run. What are we on? Like episode 200 and something? I think we did good. All right. Yeah, it could be smart screen as well, Dragon. Yeah, you're not wrong. So I'm just going to do this because I can. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. Right. We do restart? No, not restart. Oi, it's useless. Useless. We want to do log out. I don't want to turn the whole machine off. Right, we're back. Ah, this is good. I'm back in my natural habitat, the black void. All I need is a coffee and a black void. I'm good. Don't worry, guys. It'll come back. It's just being... Come on. In you go. Why is it not using 2 screens? So many questions. I have so many questions. Useless. In the buy, says Fernicar. In Regedit, you can right-click on the key attachments and export. Cool. Hopefully Regedit's working and we can actually download the file that because this is a stupid thing. I got so many things I want to look at. I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad it's a Sunday chill, because if I was like having to get things done by a time, you know, like I normally do, I would have been so annoyed. And I have been. I have been so annoyed. Because this is just bloody useless. Right, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Right, now, am I about to throw everything out the window now? Come on. Download the thing. It's not even that crazy. It's not even that crazy, guys. Virus detected. Sorry, mate. You know that Windows feature? It got cancelled. Yeah, it got cancelled. Yeah, sorry, guys. You know that feature they put in Windows? It's not in there no more. You can't do Regedit no more. You're not streaming yet? I am streaming. It's just nothing there. There's just nothing there, guys. It's just a black screen. Right, I'm about done with this. Ridiculous. Look at this. It just won't download a zip file, which I put on into GitHub yesterday, like 10 hours ago. It's like, that's what I want to show you. I got a better idea. How about I just log into the laptop and I just show it you there? This is stupid. So now I don't get to choose what's on my machine. Like, what if I want to download a virus? What if I'm doing research on viruses for work? What if I need to download? Oh, you can't. Sorry, mate. Windows 11 update. We're going to keep you secure. That means no viruses. Oh, well, I guess you better... I guess you can just pay me for the machine that I just bought that's useless. Yeah, how about that? This is so dumb. How am I supposed to, you know... So dumb. Right. We're having a bit of a Sunday, aren't we? We're having a bit of a Sunday today. Come on. Get the screen up. What? Okay, so now since restart, Elgato is actually not working. There is something on the screen now and it's not working. And I've already restarted it. Yeah, that's what it should look like. But that's not what it looks like. Look at this. Done. Right, so what I've done is I've set up remote desktop on this stupid thing so you can just see what it's doing on the actual machine, because I've had enough of this. Oi, you. Do full screen. Even F11 is lagging, guys. F11, I've pressed it. Nothing's happened. Press it again. Oh my God. Someone... This is why CEOs get shot in public. This is why. Okay. Everything's supposed to work. Nothing works. Whose fault is it? No one's fault. Oh, well, I guess no one gets the blame then. Okay. Blame me. Just blame me. It's always my fault. So, yeah. So the thing I was trying to show you for ages... We're on the laptop now because, you know, Microsoft gay. What can I say? Okay. Electron build. See, this is the app. God, that's annoying. It's like, Well, I guess you could say the best laid plans of mice and men, or whatever you want to say. Okay. Get this out of my face. Okay. No. Yes. Right. Do you know what? It kind of takes all the fun out of it when they make it this frustrating to use, because it should just be download, install, works. But when they do all of this nonsense, you spend like, what, half an hour mucking around with stuff that you should never even have to look at, to find out that there's no virus. There's nothing wrong with this. It's not even. It's just an Electron app that does a web search with Perplexity. It's got no fancy bits. There's no weird scripts in it. I don't even know why it's flagging. Yeah, that's the first app in 150 releases that has flagged like that. And that's why I never used to do development, just so you know. The reason I never used to do development is because I couldn't stand all of that other stuff that had nothing to do with your program, nothing to do with your computer, and everything to do with corporate fatigue, okay? So, like, Microsoft sacked all of their best people and now they have crap code. I don't think this is like a newsflash situation, right? This is like a pretty normal... Everybody knew. We all knew. Don't worry, we all knew. When we hear that you work for Microsoft, that's not like a badge of honor, you know? It was once, but not for a long time. So yeah, like I said, forcing security on users so they can't use the tool they've paid for, that's probably, you know, a good way to kill everything. But what do they call monopoly? It's a monopoly, right? It's a monopoly. So, yeah. Break it up, but whatever. So, like I said, I've got my key in here. So you put your key in, you select your sonar, that's all you do. And then I'd say, for example, use Sonnet 4.5 free. And then I'll go update. It'll do a web search, and it will make me a cool 3D graph, which is in the same format as the graph. See, I'm all deflated now. It's totally ruined my whole presentation because I'm all deflated now from the stupidity. Right? Right, so anyway, you get this back, which is basically just a bunch of spheres, so you can go ahead and you can click on them, and it'll open the web page, right? So this is kind of like a 3D hyperlink search result. So say I want to mouse over, that's a YouTube telling me about free access to 4.5 Sonnet, okay? This isn't supposed to be replacing Google search or anything like this. This is to work with the system that we've built. So if I show you what I mean, you can save it as .md, or you can save it as .nm3, which is what I was trying to introduce half an hour ago. But essentially what it is it allows you to make this point cloud of search results, export them as NM3, and then it's possible to load it into the graph. So, is it that one? What are you talking about? No internet. Here we go. I'll go mental about that too. So, I've got this 3D graph. Let me just load something in so I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's see. We'll go for that one. Okay, now this one's massive. So there's actually a couple of things I can show you on this. So on here we've got a massive search result. Okay, that's what that actually is. All right. You think, well, what the hell, Johnson? But the thing is, when I brought it in, I went to the menu. I went to import NM, merge NM. Sorry. Let's do it properly. I said load, right? So if I load in an NM3, it's going to give me something like what we saw the other day. Yeah. Do you know what? This has been resaved and resaved and resaved, and this is actually dirty now. I got to make a new one. Right, so make a new one. I'll call it test, because this has got all my other tests in it. So press H. There is nothing in it. This has nothing in it. It's completely empty. No scam, no tricks. If you press H, which teleports to the nearest node, it says no. Okay. So if I now go import from 2D, which is my NML format, right? So let's say I want to bring in the ask TTS which was from the 2D Canvas app. If I look around, you can see there's all of the nodes from the 2D Canvas. Okay? So this is like a step-by-step plan that builds the plan to build the software. There's all the actual plan documents. Each square is like an entire markdown document. So in case you hadn't seen this yet, if I select it, you can see there's the all the data for the page. All right, so that's pretty much what it is. I did add a few extra things. It will now use the first link inside the node. So if you press Control L on when looking at a node from a distance, it will allow you to open that link into a new page, into a new tab. But like I said, the real reason I'm showing you the search stuff is, say I'm looking at this node here, and that is the project overview, right? And it's saying stuff about Whisper CPP and WASM. Get that out of the way. It's saying stuff about Whisper CPP and WASM, right? So what I'm thinking is, if I say I want to do a search on WASM, right? So I go back over here and I say browser, what's it? Browser WASM docs. Say that. This is just an example, okay? I'm sure there's probably better things. But anyway, I'll go export nm3, browser wasm docs.nm3. Okay. Oh, you annoyance. You annoyance. Right, there we go. Right, now if I go up here, say I want to bring my search in for this. So I've done a search for whatever that node is, and I want to bring that into the thing. It's going to take it from my current position, and then there's a height offset slider. So if I go merge nm3, what I can do is I can bring in the search nm3, take the scale down because it's always massive, and then there's a height offset. So if I wanted that to be higher or lower, okay. And so this is the search, the thing that I just did the search. If I go ahead and look at this one, it's going to show me various links to various documents, okay? So then I could, if I look at that and Control L on it, it's going to open up the tabs, and then I'm straight there. So it's got more, now we've got hyperlink. So it's hyperlink with Perplexity web search, but it appears as a cluster of nodes, you know, at your location with an offset for height, so you can make it be above or below things. And then obviously you can just like connect the nodes in the normal way. So it'll be A, E, and then we'd maybe say relates. Why can't I? The shape's so small. The shapes are supposed to stay the same size. It looks like the scale has made the shape small, which is kind of funny. I didn't expect it to do that. Anyway, it's fine. It's because we don't know how big a graph is. You know, technically it's infinite. So, all right. So that would be a way how you can add in the web search. Now, you might think, well, that's a bit clunky. Why do I have to open up your Electron app, which, by the way, doesn't bloody install because of Windows? Why do I have to open up an app just to do that? And the reality is you don't. Once it's running, it has an API. Okay, so that means that in the Careless Canvas 3D, in a future version, you'll be able to just click a button and there'll be a search box, because it'll actually be doing API call and then just bringing the NM3 straight in. So it you know, it's like when your things are like being built, it doesn't look obvious, but here, if I just go back to the README and just scroll down, you'll notice that there is a README API. Here we go. Check this out. See what I'm saying? So then I didn't need to put the Perplexity search tool into my other app. I just needed to have it run so that I could use its API. And then my new app only needs an API call. This is the real reason I'm doing it. It's like, why are you making all of that? It's because it's able to show you that if you have an app and then you have another app, and one of them is running an API, we don't need to build that tool again. We've already built the tool. You see, I don't need to build the perplexity search to convert to NM3 again. It's already built. All I have to do is say my new apps that I want to be able to access this sort of content, just to do this, right? Which is much, much easier. So that's all I'm drawing attention to there. The double, what is it? The two birds with one stone throw is the fact that the main project that this is based on, it's all stemming from the same specification. Okay, so like, let's see if I find this thing here. So we wrote a specification first, and then we built the app on that. And we've built 3 apps based on the spec, the same spec. I'm just trying to find, where is the bloody spec? It should be bloody linked from here. It looks like we got a new README and it's wiped out some of my customization. You know? It's just going on about perplexity. No. Are you kidding me? So it looks like in the process of me updating the documentation last night, we lost the standard. But that should be linked to from this. So annoying. Okay. Can we go back to the repos, though? Not just click on where I was already? That'd be great. All right. So, yeah, it was based on the... No, that's a different one. There we go. NM3, Nested Markdown 3D. Okay. So what is Nested Markdown 3D? It's just like my old Nested Markdown language, which is Nested Markdown language. It's an XML that stores many Markdown pages. That's what it does. But it does have 2D spatial positioning data and relationship links, like a knowledge graph. So NM3 takes that to the next level by introducing 3 dimensions. So everything you need to know is essentially there. As you can see, you have the XML structure. It's named NM3. You have a title and a date. You have positional data on XYZ. And then you have the lookat with the FOV. That's basically what you've got. And then the nodes themselves contain document metadata, including the Markdown itself. We've also got the ability to copy the contents of the Markdown node from a distance, and the ability to open a new tab with the first link that you find inside of it. These are just convenience things which I find useful. So, but the standard spec, like I said, is just a simple MD file which you can feed to an LLM. So what I'm trying to show is the way that you can make multiple apps that are all compatible with the same custom file format standard. You just need to write your own XML before you make the app. And then when you make the app, include that file, and the LLM will go, oh, I see you're trying to make a custom XML file format. Oh, he's all about it. He knows all about what that is, and he'll be able to do what you're trying to do. I think. I don't know what you're trying to do. But anyway, certainly this does work, right? So like with this app, it's built to export to NM3, right? And then in the actual graph app, we've got lots of import tools. So we can import from NML, the 2D version. We can import from NM3 and merge the graphs in place. So, you know, obviously I had a 2D graph. That's the one that you see there. See there, that's a plan. Okay. Oh, wow, look at that. I've got like... Ah, cool. I didn't even realize that was working now. So I put that in and I haven't used it. So now we've got warp. We've got warps. So it'll warp to stuff it's connected to. Which, you know, it doesn't seem like that point... That's weird. What, I can't... It's like every time I click on it, it was clicking on that and opening the menu again. Might have to overhaul that. See, that's the actual connections controls. But anyway, so if these were further apart, the teleport menu would make more sense. Because it's an infinite canvas at the end of the day. I don't know how big you're going to make things. But yeah, so the idea is you can bring stuff in like that. You've already seen it where we use voice commands to bring in new data, which you can obviously just paste in place. Like, what's that there? I don't know what that is. I'll copy it, paste it. What's this saying? Execute multi-phase plan defined in docs phase 0. Phase 0. Ah, yeah, that's the prompt to start it off. So this is a good prompt, actually. We can begin executing the multi-phase plan defined inside docs, starting with docs phase 0. We'll read the plan, then first create substage plans as new markdown artifacts written inside docs instruct for use tracking progress as tasks. We can tracking progress as tasks as we complete the app. Bit of a weird grammar there. Note, phase 5 and beyond will be added once we reach. So it's one thing I started doing. I started not giving him all of the plans. I give him like half the plans, because sometimes he would like skip. He'd get excited and go, I'm just going to finish. And then you'd like, well, what happened to, he'd like break the order, just finish. So I started like not giving him the full plans, basically. Now what I do is I give him the phase that we're working on. I say make the multi-stages for this phase. And then after that, I give him the next phase, tell him to break it up into sub-stages, and then we work through it. Because I got fed up with him running ahead. He'll even make up a new plan if he doesn't have it. It's very, very squirrely. Okay. So that's the graph, okay? That's the graph. V hides the UI. You have save in NM3, export as MD for LLM, load NM3. In here we have the merge. I showed you it has like the scale and the Y axis. I found out Y is height. It's not anything else. In settings, I swear I changed something in here. You see this, the NML scale is very low. Oh, yeah, that was it. See, I completely forgot about this. We now have a graph scale at the bottom of the screen. I forgot to mention it. There's a graph scale thing. So right now we're at 0.6. Okay. Now, obviously, we can go even smaller. Go down to 0.3. You see what I mean? It's just shrinking the entire grid. The funny thing is, naturally, this is getting closer to what... Yeah, mate, more than that, actually. Maybe more than that. Go for 5x, yeah. So when I import data, a lot of the time it comes in like this size. Not whatever the other one was. So this is why we brought in the H to teleport to the first node. Because we realized, people won't be able to find it. Because it's like an entire world in here. But again, this is what these... So next, right? Go E, and then you can actually now navigate with the incoming, outgoing links, you see. So it is possible to just warp around from thing to thing now. Yeah, so if I select it... Oh, that's weird. Why isn't it? Hang on. So if I select that cube... Oh, and then it appears. Okay, so I need like a button to make that appear and disappear, because for some reason it doesn't always appear. Okay. Alright. But like I said, this is like one of my latest projects. Mostly to give myself something to like... Because when I want to show you stuff, I can do this. Do you know what I mean? Which I think looks a bit more smart. So if I'm reading something out, you guys can read it, which is nice. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't watching the screen, so I don't like require people to watch the screen, but I know that some people are. I know most people are just working along with whatever project they're working on. So, it's not necessarily all visual like you're locked in. It's more like you glance over when I'm going on about something, and mostly it's just commentary, basically. But, so yeah, model agnostic, open llama, Olu, blah, 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 blah. Cool. And that's why I was happy with this, because even though it's basic, it's simple and basic, yeah, it does what it's supposed to do, which is do a quick web search and make a little graph for you, and then that graph can be, have I become disoriented? Yes, I have. So that can then come in here as a little cluster. But making these things manual is cool and all, but if I'm being honest, it's not how I'm going to use it either. So what I've been doing, as we now step into coffee time, what I've been doing is the MCP. So I've been making a super complicated MCP, which can automate the creation of these info grids with all the data and the knowledge graph, right? So right now I just finished phase 3. I believe we already had phase 2. So what I really need to do is I just need to test it. So there's my 3D web search. So annoying. Why? What virus is it picking up? I just don't see. Whatever. It could be anything. You see, you end up getting into side quests that have nothing to do with development. Now you're becoming an expert in Microsoft security policies. It's like, that had nothing to do with me making a little search app, mate. That had nothing to do with that. Didn't need to know any of that. Waste half an hour of my live show on nonsense. But yeah, something like that. I'm just glad it's Sunday chill, because otherwise I'd be annoyed with the time constraints. So yeah, it's built all of this. We did the spatial optimization phase 3. So I had the intelligence engine already done. That's in. So it's the spatial optimization, and then I have the plan for phase 4, which is performance and scalability. So what I want to do is I want to show off what phase 3 is doing. The spatial optimization. Hey, it might be completely broken. Do you know what I mean? I'm just going to be honest. It might be completely broken. So yeah, let's just make a new window. Close that. Go for open folder. And it's going to be projects. We're going to be testing MCP again. So obviously the first things first, we're just going to have a look inside Klein and see that the MCP is actually set up. Go to configure, Markdown 3D. It's configured. We got transform to NM3 and validate NM3, so that looks good. Now I just need to get a markdown file. Any markdown file. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. 20 questions workflow. Oh yeah, that's something else we need to look at. Skills. I've made loads of skills. Turns out, if you want the cliff notes before we're going into coffee time, all my system prompts, all my prompts, all my ENHs, all of it, you can just put a header at the top and say name, thing, description, thing, and now it's a skill. Okay? They're already skills. Skills are all of my agent code, because it's MD file system prompt system now. They've decided to do it how I've been doing it for the last year and a half. So I'm glad that that's the system, because it means I can just plug all my stuff straight into their stuff now. But it is kind of funny that it took 18 months to get here. They could have just picked up the phone. My phone does work. It's online. You could just call me. But I guess they wanted to figure it out on their own. So let's see. Because like I said, I don't know how they built their tool. That's the clever part, But I just think we should be learning from the sum of everything, not reinventing the wheel a billion times. You know, it's like find out, oh, someone already invented that like 500 years ago. And you're like, oh, yeah, but I just wanted to do it again. I get that. Okay. So we have our browser WASM docs. We have all this crap. I mean, I could just use that, but it's not really a very good example. Let me just see if I got a better one. Test demo, Markdown, 3D, MCP plan. I mean, I guess I could just get this book 2 summary here. Yeah, let's do that. Put that there. Okay. Open up the thing and say we can read the book 2 summary and then I'm just doing the MCP here. Transform to NM3. Okay. It's not complicated when you do the MCP. So I believe it's Sonnet 4.5. 1 million is what's being used. Probably want to type actually 3. We can read the MD, which is a report on book 2, and then go ahead. I probably should have just said act. Yeah, I should have just said act. See, when you're doing a tool instruction, yeah, do you know what? I'm just going to say act there. Because what he'll say is, I can't use tools when I'm not in act mode. You know, it's a waste of time. You may as well just go straight in. Go straight in on the act mode. Okay, so off he goes. He's going to go ahead and do it. As you can see, he's loading up the transform to NM3 right now. What is this? Giant narrative? Yeah, this is the giant story. Oh, yeah. Narrative Spittoon in version 3.0 is finished. I'm just doing testing on it to make sure it's got no weird stuff. The weird stuff I found so far is that it tries to do all of the old narrative cleanup tools when I didn't really ask him to. He looked in the project and went, oh, I can see you've got all these extra tools. I'll use those. I didn't actually ask him to do that. But essentially, it's a single prompt and it does the whole thing. From, the interview that asks you who your story, who your world, who your characters are, right the way up to having written the book. It does it all in one go. Obviously, you have moments where you can stop to add in, edit, or otherwise affect the process. But if you just sort of let it do its thing and you don't stop it, you just say, keep going, keep going, keep going. If you just let it, it will just write the entire book for about $8. About $8. The 20-question interview is quite good. I mean, if you give it like a law book, it will start the interview from that point. So, but I did it from scratch, completely new story, $8. And you have all your you have your 6 chapters. Obviously, you can continue to edit the draft from there. But the fact that it's just one prompt, yeah. The fact that it's just one prompt is crazy. I might. We were thinking about making skills, but then I thought maybe an MCP is actually more appropriate because you could have an MCP do the interview and write all the files and everything. But like I said, skills are like the new thing. So we'll show you a little bit more of that in a minute. But skills are like the new thing for Claudage. Oh, look. It's finished. So you've got to remember there is a system prompt which you can use to have an LLM make the NM3 file from scratch or from a markdown study that you supply or that it has just made. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So let's take a look at that, shall we? Let's take a look at that. So go load. Now it's going to be projects, testing, book 2 summary. Oh, it's 0 bytes. Oh, it's still writing it. It's not finished. Yeah, it's not actually finished yet. All right. I was getting ahead of myself there, fair. All right, I think it's coffee time anyway, so let me just... Get some stuff on the screen here. What? Huh? What's that? Oh, that's the voice stuff. Huh? Huh? That's more voice stuff. Why have we got two? Confusing. What? Oh, I see what's happening. Oh my god. I hate Windows so much. Here we go. There it is. I think it's just because I've used it too much, guys. I think I've just been exposed to it for too long. It's starting to... like cracked veneers. Okay, here we go. All I want to do is get back to where I was at. Hey! Something went wrong. I am destroying my computer. What happened? Ugh. Nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble. That's what computers are. Nothing but trouble. Look, what he won't. F11 has no effect. So I guess you can't do that now. God, I hate machines. Look at this. F11 does nothing. I bet if I just click somewhere else, like if I click on here, it'll work. Yep. Yep. This is, you know how I get like annoyed. I do get annoyed, and this is the kind of reason why. Yeah. F11. If I click on anywhere, F11. Yeah. It works. But if I click in certain places, it doesn't work. They're never going to fix it. You what? 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 Why is it quiet? Oh, don't tell me that everything about the stream tonight. Everything that could go wrong. See, I don't know. I'm still using the correct microphone. You know, you're like, why is it quiet? If it is, I can't tell. Why is it quiet? It sounds like you're in the toilet. Well, I'm not. I haven't moved. I'm in the same spot that I'm always in. Again, this is why I hate Windows, guys. Everything's not working today for no reason. It's just been a success of things that don't work tonight. I don't know why. Never had it be that bad. What the heck? That's not even a valid file. Okay, you have produced a single line. A single line. What the hell is that supposed to be? Yet the file that it made is one line. Forget coffee time. What's this? Forget coffee time. I mean, look, if the microphone's broken, I can't tell. I'm getting good peak. The peak is good for me. So, you know, when I look at the screen and the bars are green and stuff like that, that's all I got to tell me. So I can't explain that, guys. Look, the file was truncated. You can say that again. Yeah. How about you do that? That's hilarious. So he goes, I've finished. There's and he told me all about this 40 nodes with all this information. It's great. And I'm like, there's one line. And he's like, oh yeah, I got truncated. What's that? Audio is stereo. The moment you restarted was fine. Oh, okay, so I don't know. Maybe it's his end. I don't know. The audio didn't stop for me. Okay. Well, I'll listen to it later, and appropriate roastings will be handed out, I guess. But I tell you what, it doesn't want to be used today. So after I restarted, even when I restarted, okay. So has he done it then? No, he's doing it. He's doing it. He's doing it. You got to be patient. All right, well, do you know what? Enough of this nonsense. Enough of this nonsense. We've got more stuff to show and not enough time to do it. So the bottom line is I made a 3D mind map graph. You can use it. You can do a web search into it. There's an MCP, so you can do an LLM search and you can get the results of that, turn it into the graph. You can walk around, you can go inside, you get Careless Whisper, ask it questions, paste the results, use it as a link chart. There's almost too much stuff you can do in there. Okay? So it was at that point that we move on. Fair? Fair. All right. You'll hear more about that, I'm sure. So the web search we've talked about. The voxel thing, that's the actual 3D chart. We've talked about that. You will notice some of my old repos suddenly appearing at the top. It's because I'm adding citations and stuff like that to the readmes. Because I was bad with the documentation. Generated it all with AI. Didn't have a template. So it's missing stuff. It's missing stuff. So I'm going to go in and add all of that. All right? So that's what that's about. I mean, if I was just to show you the run pod in it, that's what I'm adding to the bottom. Okay? So if you want to use my stuff, be nice. Don't worry about the donation thing. It exists because I forgot about it. So I'm just putting it everywhere. The main thing is the citation. I forgot to actually put on there, please cite my research, you know, if you're going to use it. And I think a lot of people don't because I didn't. So I'm putting that in. And then what else? So Chungus is the nested markdown 3D conversion. That's that one. Very good, very good. Bunraku's still out. Markdown 3D MCP. So this isn't the broken version. This is the version that works. I'm working on the broken version at the moment. So it looks like it's working, but there seems to be something strange that happens at the end where he saved it as a single line. Not the smartest thing he's done, but it's probably my fault. Bunraku is the animation suite with the chatbot. You've already shown that, the 3D animation stuff with the dancing girls. Although, I know why it didn't work. I had to restart my computer, didn't I? Of course. Okay. Remember a couple of days ago we were looking at Bunraku with the voice cloning feature, and I showed off the server, which is OpenAI speech standard, but it's just a Vibe Voice API server. We've done that, so no character charges. Voice data private. GPU acceleration. Okay? If you have an app that uses the OpenAI speech SDK, you can just switch it to using this instead. And it's pretty easy to add new voices, but I wouldn't even bother. It's easy to set up a fast API. Just make another one. But yeah. That's funny. I don't recall this. Vibe Voice Full or Vibe Voice Light? I don't remember there being a Vibe Voice Light. I have Vibe Voice Full. Well, anyway, like I said, there's always new stuff coming out all the time. I can't know everything. But yeah, this is essentially the OpenAI compatible stuff. It just makes it easier if you've already made an app and you want to use the TTS, but you don't want to pay API, you don't want to pay. This is a way you can do that. And it's a voice clone system as well, so it's kind of like not limited by the voices that it already has out the box. You can give it an audio sample and have it be that, which is nice. I did manage to get it up to being real time, but it's not, when you say real time, it's not real time streaming, it's batch, because this was made to actually create like long form audio. So like it claims to be able to do a 45-minute podcast with multi-speaker. I have it set up for just one person. But so in theory, this can do TTS for entire episodes of whatever content you're doing. If you just put a recording of your own voice in it, that's the intention. So DJZ, Vibe Voice, V2 API edition. All right. So specifically, it's supposed to, you set it up, you go into the UI, you put your voices, it'll give you the codes you need for your API calls. And then after that, you don't need the front end. You just need the back end running. And the back end will, generate speech and send it to whatever app you're working on. Okay. It's pure local. So it's aimed at people who have a GPU and want to do it themselves. So that's what that one's for. NSL, Claude Skills, Tins for Skills, and M3 Standard. I think we already looked at that. And yeah. Oh yeah, the giant narrative's out. If you want to see let's start there. So the giant narrative is out, a little bit of Writers Club stuff. As you can see, narrative inversion methodology, right? So we did the Land of the Giants trilogy. It was 3 books. All 3 books are here. Yeah, all 3 books. And this is the output from the tool. So obviously you can do more draft work to this. But the point I'm trying to make is we've shown off this is now this is the complete narrative that we started end to end on stream. There it is. It's done in full. Okay. What the hell is Docs Convo? Oh, yeah. That's the original, the law stuff. And then giant narrative. So we have giant, and then we have story. Now, in case you're wondering, we have book 1, book 2, book 3. So all 3 books are there. And the zips contain the different states of the narrative bucket, pre and post each book being written. Because obviously, if you want to write a prequel to book 1, it needs to be a prequel to book 1, not a prequel to book 3. And if you want to write a sequel to book 3, you've got to write it from the end of book 3, not the end of book 2 or book 1. So that's why the giant bucket, which contains all of the stuff, is obviously changed. The events of the book change the source material. So every time a book is finished, this gets evolved. So I keep a copy of the previous state, because then, you get consistency and stuff like that. Continuity. Okay. And the thing is, the narrative inversion 3.0 is a single prompt. It does it all in one now. It just does it all in one. Obviously, you have interview, and it's able to take on your new concepts. Okay. We'd already talked about nested markdown 3D. It's basically NML, but with 3D. Tins for skills. This will be fun. Do you know what? Yeah, I'll be fine. So tins for skills. 2 approaches, 1 goal. Instructing AI through structured documentation. So what's inside? Classic tins. We've all heard of tins if you're a regular here, because we did that last year or earlier this year, I forget. Claude skills. System prompts for defining AI assistant capabilities. Okay. And then some templates and tools and whatnot. So, excuse me. Tins was used for software generation. There is no source. Tins was a revolutionary approach where you distribute only README files and AI generates the software. So you only need to give out a README, and then whatever AI model at the other end builds the actual software. That was the concept, and we made a whole bunch of different stuff and released that open source so everyone could use it. Path 2, Claude Skills. So this is the new thing, which is now supported by Claude, and it's supported by Claude Code. So you can have your sub-agents use skills now, and it's just markdown file system prompt based. Okay, that's how it works. They'll make it sound like it's much harder than that. Like, they make it sound like it's way more complicated, but when you actually look at it, it's a system prompt in MD format, guys. All right? Now, there is some cool stuff you can do with them. Okay? There is some cool stuff. But anyway. So you'd Claude skills when you want to define how AI assistants should behave. So it's a little bit more wider in the application than just making software. Okay. And we'll get into that. But anyway, I actually think that using both at the same time. So I would use a TINS README, and then I would use, because I've got a skill that can generate a TINS README. See. So anyway, this is the sort of thing you can do. We made a TINS skill. Okay. Paradigm shift in software distribution. Tiny distribution size. Look at this. Look at this. This is so funny when you look at this. I love this. Because you compare the two things, right? In fact, I did a study comparing the two systems. But they're like basically the same thing. It's funny. I was having a right laugh last night looking at this. And in fact, we made a special document which explains it in a little bit more detail, like compare them. So if you look at skills versus TINS, look at the code. So the document header and identity. You see how different this is? You see how different that is? Right? Let's look at the next one. The biggest difference is TINS is written in third person and is declarative. So I say the application must and users can, whereas Claude is written in second person. You are, your role is, and when you. So you are a TINS specialist assistant, whereas mine is the application must, So skills are reflexive, AI reflecting on its own behavior, while TINS is projective, AI projecting a separate artifact. Because if you remember, I use a lot of elicitation, so I will tell him what happened, even though he hasn't done it yet. Which is a little bit like, you will do this, or you have done this, because time doesn't really have meaning anyway. For these generation of LLMs, they don't know what time it is. User focused application must. Well, they might know what time it is, but they don't understand the passage of time. That's probably a more accurate way of saying it. So the application must validate. Anyway. So as you can see, the core section structure here is very different, with Claude on top and TINS underneath. We have extreme differences here. And again, with the instruction framing, we have some more extreme differences here between these two pieces of code. As you can see, Claude, he does core capabilities with capability names, whereas I did functionality with feature names. And then he has specific behaviors, but I have feature capabilities. Wait. Feature capability? Hang on. Wait a minute. So, core capabilities, functionality. Capability name, feature name. Feature capability, specific behavior. So they are capabilities then, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? The behavior is a capability, is a behavior. It's just like thesaurus. The thesaurus time, we got different words that's doing the same thing. I told you guys this was what was going to happen. Here's another one. Very different how... it's very different, is what I'm saying. It's not the same, guys. Because he's doing a user response conversation, whereas I'm actually telling it what it should be doing. It's very different, So this is an interaction pattern, which describes what the conversation's going to be, whereas mine is more specific and is actually about what's being said at the time. Do the thing. And in fact, this isn't even one of mine. I don't even know where he came to that. I've never done this. What the fuck? This has been generated somehow. It's kind of funny. So skills show conversational exchanges. TINS show functional examples. So think about that for a second. User input, output response. User input, output response. It's the same thing, but we're just using different terminology. Because you know, if I show a functional example of something that Tins did, that is a conversational exchange, because that's how it works. You know, if you want to show an LLM an example of it doing it before, you're really showing it a user assistant chat log of success. So, like, this is what you did before. So it's the same thing. It's kind of funny. So skills are dialogic and Tins is operational. Love it. There are more examples of, you know, the difference between the differences between Claude and skills. But the real thing is, how do you install skills? Okay. So how do we actually install skills? Look at this. It's so funny. He's like desperately trying to say that they're not. They're different. But the thing is, like, how you write your Tins. You know, you might decide to write your Tins in the second person, because I didn't say you have to do it in third. That's just how I write mine. You know what I mean? And as for the examples, that is an input-output, which does teach behavior. So when he says the validation focus is AI behavior correctness, software quality versus software quality metrics, he's kind of muddying the water a little bit, because actually, when I go, say I show you my E&H system. If you look in the E&H system, there are examples. If I type a cat, it's going to make this response, which is enhanced with all of the, yeah, that is actually a behavior correctness, not a software quality metric. So the funny thing that's what's happened is when he compared the two things, and look, name, hashtag bracket name, Claude skill, or hashtag bracket name, oh, that's totally different. You didn't put a dash saying Tins at the end. It's like we're really splitting hairs on what's the difference. Ultimately, skills and Tins represent two sides of the same coin, instructing AI through structured natural language. The primary structural difference lies in narrative perspective. Skills speak to AI about its behavior, when Tins speaks through the AI about software it should create. And I can agree with that, because it's elicitation. Yeah, we're not giving him an example of a chat log and saying mimic this. We actually have him understand the task with context and intent engineering, which is probably about 3 months ahead, according to my most reliable sources. But yeah, so they're basically the same thing, guys. It's a system prompt. If I really the big oh really, the oh wow moment for me was when I saw how they're actually installed. So if you go through all of this stuff and he tells you blah blah blah, cool, and then it says, how do I actually install it, right? Hang on. How do I actually use my Tins? Not Tins. Skills. How do I use my skills? Create your own skill. Claude skills benefits. Don't tell me I can't find the thing I need to show you next. Oh, that's annoying. So if you actually look at the Claude skills documentation, it says step 1, add it to Claude. Step 2, add it to Claude code. Step 3, put it in a system prompt. And I'm like, oh, so it's a system prompt then, written in Markdown. So that's what we've been doing for the last couple of years, guys. Nothing changed. So everything that we've been doing is compatible with this. And so to that end, what I did was I made a couple of skills. You know what I mean? So we made Tins here, because this is the skills versus Tins repo. But the Claude Skills Archive is a different one. So I've given you the zip files, which you can just download them and put them straight into the chat. So if I take a look at this and I go over to, where is it now? If I go to me and then I go to settings and then I go down to connectors. Is it connectors? No. Capabilities. Scroll down a bit. And then we have right here skills, repeatable. You'll have to turn it on or upload the first one. It's quite simple, actually, the way they've done it. So what you do... Why is everything dead right now? Everything's dead. Wake up! Right, so we've got Bun Raku, we've got Vibe Voice, we've got the Laura I was working on. Great, it didn't open. It opened 3 VS codes, and none of them are the one I'm looking for. Oh, classic. So new window. Oh, shucks. It's on the laptop. That's why. Okay. So anyway, when you upload the skill, it says right here what I was trying to find. So I may as well just show you on the screen here. The zip file contains one skill.md, okay, in the root level of the zip. Skill.md contains a skill name and a description formatted in YAML, okay. Now, just in case you're wondering about this, this is the only thing that makes it not like what I do. And it's the project instructions, guys. Let me show you. Oh my God. Can I get a dark mode? Can I get a dark mode? Do you know what? Their actual wiki has a dark mode. This is horrible. I can't read this. Go to the wiki. Surely there's a wiki. That's not a wiki. Oh my God. Did you really just link to a parked domain because it's called skill.md? Idiots. Right, hang on. Where's the wiki? This is crap. Okay, fine. We'll do it from here. I don't like burning out my retinas for no reason, guys. So yeah, document skills, document capabilities, examples, blah, 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 blah. There's loads of different examples, all right? I'm not going to bore you. You can go in here and see them. It's called skill.md. You save it in a zip, and then you can upload it to either Claude Code, you can upload it to the chat, or you can put it, like I said, I had my sub-agents in Claude Code using the skills which I added, okay? So it was super simple, and literally every single prompt in my LLM prompts, there's probably 100 of them in there, all different agent design and whatnot. It's 100% compatible. You literally just save it as skill.md, and that's it. I had no changes. Oh, wait. To be fair, there is one change. There is one change. I'll show you on this one. The one change is this bit at the top. Now, I said it's like project instructions. So in the narrative bucket system we use for writing stories, we put all of our information in a folder, which is the narrative bucket. So then that's the rag store essentially, right? But it's in markdown file format. Always has been, okay? What we found was that we use a narrative, like a manifest file. It's called project instructions. All it is a list which has the name and a dash and then a short line description of what that file is. We have a name. We have a description of what that file is. Now you might think, oh, that's just coincidence. No, it's not. You see this here? That makes it a YAML header. Now what's interesting is, instead of doing what I was doing and having a central file that explains what all the other files, so because the reason I did it was so he doesn't load all of the documents in memory. He only loads the manifest in memory, that project instructions, so that if he ever needs more information on a thing, he knows where to get it. But he doesn't actually load the whole document into memory. So this is the same. What they've done is they've said, and you can read this in their documents, so I'm not making this up. What it does is it only loads the description. Okay? So the skill MCP builder, it doesn't load the whole thing. It just loads the description, which is in this header, which I think is actually kind of smart, right? Credit where credit's due. So their context window only loads in this, it knows that this is a skill, so whenever MC Builder gets spoken about, it's going to go ahead and do the whole thing. That's what skills are, okay? So I had to cover that because it's a big new feature for Claude. You know, when you combine MCP with skill and sub-agents, there's a lot of power here. There's a lot of power here. And I will also say there is a skill. There is a skill, which is a skill creator. Okay? So you can actually have a skill that will create new skills. So you like a bit of recursion, do you? Like a bit of recursion, do you? So there's that. Now, if I remember right, something else is coming down the line with the holographic stuff. So you'll be able to run Node one day in the machine. Okay? So you won't, we'll be able to just run Node in the LLM, which is quite interesting. Like, they're giving it access to certain things, so it's able to build things and So like the artifacts builder, build complex Claude HTML using React, Tailwind, Shad CN. So that's all the vibe code stuff we've been doing lately, but he'll just do it all. It's kind of funny. And obviously what I've done is I've given my first offerings for this one. I'm going to be doing... Looked at that. No, we haven't looked at that. We're looking at that. Yeah, we're looking at this. Okay. So I've given the source. So I've got tins. There is no software. It will turn anything into a README file, which can then be used to write new software, which has the same features. 20 questions. This will make a markdown file, okay? This will make a markdown file with doing a 20 questions interview. So this is something that we do for a lot of our stuff, which bolsters. It's a really powerful technique for building up information on a project, which can then reinforce the project. So again, it's like RAG generation, but human, not like synthetic, because you answer the questions yourself. It doesn't take long. And then you have this crazy detailed markdown, which can be used to write books and all kinds of stuff. That's what we use it for. But it can be used in a number of ways. So that's a skill. You just say, use 20 questions to create a new artifact based on my responses. And he'll be like, okay. And he's, like I said, got all of that programming there. Then the last one I did was Unfold. And this is one of the coolest, because this is actually one of my latest things. So I shared the post, I shared the prompt a couple of weeks back, and I've been demoing it with all the projects. It's like this. Unfold skill provides a systematic methodology for breaking down complex development plans into manageable, high-fidelity, stage-based documents. This process creates detailed handoff documents with step-by-step instructions and code examples, enabling clear execution, tracking, and team coordination. So it has two modes. One, plans are divided into sequential phases, starting with phase 0. Yeah. So you give it a plan. You give it a plan, a basic plan, right? You can get one-page plans out of most LLMs. You give it a plan. It then creates separate markdown artifacts in sequence. Phase 0 overview, and then 1, 2, 3 until, right? And then and then you can also further divide the phases into sub-stages. So often what you'll have is I don't know, 5 or 6 sub-stages per phase. When you actually look at the detail in the documentation of the planning, it's like high fidelity, as they say. It is the full code, not just a snippet. Yeah. And actually often you don't need to plan anymore. When you get down to the bottom, you just act all the way because you've got everything you need. So we have unfold plan, and then we have unfold phase, which are the two different modes. So you'll say how to proceed to the next phase, tool 2, unfold phase. Here we go. So take a phase document, break it down into sub-stage documents for even more granular execution. Like I said, I've got examples of that. Works well. I've been doing it on a number of projects for a while. I tend to do docs for the phases and then /instruct subfolder for the substages. And in fact, often it'll give you a progress tracking document for free, which has got like that's very cool. Like I say, it's very cool. I've shown it off a bunch of times on the stream lately, but it is worth sort of bringing that up. I do think it's very important, very cool. So yeah, the unfold skill, and it's just a case of zipping up the skill MD, and you can add it to your Claude chat, like just drag and drop, and you can add them and update them and stuff. There's got a bunch of built-in ones as well, though. So like I say, new feature. We like to stay on top of things. The thing that really impressed me, though, was the fact that you can integrate this with their Claude Code, which is like the Gemini CLI tool, yeah? And like I said, you can just put these files, you just put them in a folder called skills, and they're in there. I'm surprised. Yeah, I was quite surprised how easy it was to set it all up. So credit where credit is due, you know. Write and run code to process data, run analysis and produce visualization. Oh, cool. I turned it off, did I? It's weird. Right. Next. Right. And that brings us roundly to the narrative spittoon language. So what we've got here is we've got the NSL 1.1 spec. Now you're thinking, oh, here we go. He's writing another XML spec. Yep, because it's worked so well so far. Why not? So I thought, why can't we just have our narrative bucket be a file? Okay, so everything in the narrative bucket, one file called NSL 1.1. It has a bunch of advantages. Okay, so being the single file format, it's got semantic structure, multi-volume support, so you can do trilogies. All right, the cross-reference system. What else? Yeah, no standard format means every project structure files differently. It's true. So, you know, we're trying to unify. Obviously, you can do it however you want because it works. I don't care. But I'm saying that you might have a better experience if you struggled with it by making it simpler like this. Okay, so that's partly the motivation, is to make it more accessible. But what it is it's a one file narrative bucket format. So we call it NSL, which is narrative spittoon language. I've done a couple, but the beauty is that I can build tools based on NSL, which will understand everything about the standard. So it'll know where all the information is. And I think that's going to be actually more, I think it will be more precise once it's all built. Don't worry about NSL 1.0. For some reason, the AI goes a bit nuts sometimes. There was no 1.1.0 because we hadn't finished it yet. You know what I mean? If I'm creating something, there isn't a 1.0 yet. And he was like, because I changed it at the end, he was like, oh, that's 1.1 then. And I was like, wait a minute, you can't tell me I can't change the standard when we haven't finished making it for the first time. AI can be so much fun. Like, what are you talking about? But yeah. So here we go. App development. So these are just ideas. These are not plans. But what I'm saying is, if you have NSL, you can actually build things for NSL. So because there's a standard, the application works with the standard. So as long as people follow the standard, all the apps work. It's the same way the Canvas tools work, and the MCPs that make the canvases. So see this. Is that actually a thing? Yeah, that doesn't exist. I love it when the AI just hallucinates. If you want more information, go to this page that definitely exists and I didn't make up. Like this, look, schema. What are you talking about? That doesn't exist either. That doesn't exist. Good times. Okay. So, like I said, the NSL 1.1 spec. All right. Now, there's one more thing here, which is the NSI v3. So that is the actual narrative spittoon in version v3. So with this single prompt, you can write the entire book, start to finish. Just put this prompt in. It will ask you the 20 questions stuff. And then after you've put your 20 questions stuff in, as you can see here, look, knowledge gathering, artifact creation, framework, story, refinement. Now, the refinement depends on your options. I don't think, because I've got different systems for doing the refinement process. So, but the beauty of this is it's model agnostic. I'm not telling you what model to use. You can use whatever model you want. Tool agnostic. I'm not even telling you to use VS Code. You can use whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Okay? The system is now that robust. We're not tied to models. We're not tied to platforms. None of that matters. It's an ethereal process. I have put it into one prompt for you guys. Okay? But this is really just the same process that we were already doing by hand. Just put into an automated thing. And it looks long, but like I said, $8. It cost me $8 to do a complete new thing. Now, is it more, it's less dynamic than the, if you do it the full way, yeah, here's an example. If you do it yourself, the way I taught everyone, not this way, you can go in and change Hero's Journey to one of 100 stories, 100 story structures. But if you use this one prompt, you need to know how to change the prompt. And if you don't, then it's always going to be Hero's Journey. Now, that's not a problem, but I'm just saying, like, there's more value when you understand how the process works and you do it custom, okay? Because you might do save the cat, and then none of this makes sense. But it still works. We've shown it. We've proved it. Also, for the ending, look at this. What I did was I said, if you don't put page 5 in the story folder, if you don't write your own last page, it's just going to create one for you based on the story from the interview that you described. Okay? Which is a new one. Normally, I say you got to write your last page. But for the purposes of making it one end-to-end prompt, I did it this way. And so that way it says, if there's no page, then just generate it. Okay. It's going to do the same reverse story generation that we've been doing since last summer. And then maybe even longer than that. And then I think we're done pretty much. I think that's pretty much, that's your wrap. You know what I mean? That's your wrap. So, key takeaways. The ending drives the story. Yep. It's funny that, isn't it? Can you imagine? Because people are like, why is it my story hallucinates like crap and falls apart and I can't write books? And I said, well, because the ending drove the story. Often the end of a story was the driver, actually. And if you start looking at books backwards, you'll start to realize that it makes more sense to write the book that way. If you write it backwards, you know what's happening. You know what needs to make sense and how it all needs to add up. You see what I mean? It's like a little trick. And when you watch it forwards, you don't think that it was probably actually written in reverse. So I mean, look, I've been doing more research. You know, I thought it was like, it turns out it's quite common to plan a book. You might not write it in reverse, but to plan a book in reverse is actually quite common in writing circles. I wasn't actually aware of that. I didn't know. Okay? I didn't know. All I knew was it made more sense to me to track back from a point in time that we know. See what I mean? Because if the future, I just thought if the problem is the future is not known. So if you try to generate forwards, it falls apart because he doesn't really know what the future is. But if you tell him what the future is, he's actually only traveling from A to B. And he knows how, say someone gets stabbed in a car crash. He knows how to explain events for how to get the person to those situations, right? Yeah. Full Dive just said, especially in murder mysteries. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And in fact, you know, Chekhov's gun is a lot easier to do when you actually, because if you write the story backwards and you say, oh, someone gets shot, and then you write your whole story, and then you go, oh, and the guy has this gun in a drawer. So it's like, you know, the callback was actually in reverse. You know, it was anyway. I've gone on about it being backwards enough. All right. So obviously you can change every file, but this framework will give you the defaults, the default stuff. Okay. But yeah, like I said, this is like a new thing to try and make it all in one. The prompt at the moment is literally like while reading the NSL spec and then copy paste this prompt, do the prompt, right? And the thing is, you go, oh, well, how does it know what story to write? Well, the first thing it does is it does a 20 questions interview with you, trying to get you to explain. The knowledge gathering phase is the largest part. And it's literally going to do an interview, running interview, update a markdown. So this isn't out yet, but it will be. Okay, I'm still doing initial testing on it. We've already written the entire book. Do I have a copy of that book yet? Do I have a copy of that? No. And I've got 4 minutes left for the show. So we're actually doing okay. Right, 4 minutes. What can I do in 4 minutes? I know. We'll check out Blast Off Chronicles. You've probably been wondering what the hell is Blast Off Chronicles. Well, I've been wondering the same thing. So how about we do a double? Here we go. Blast Off Chronicles. Now this is public, for better or worse. There we go, copy that. And I will drop this in the inside line for anyone who wants to mess about with it. Where is the links? Come on, get off the screen, you freaks. Inside line, here we go. Okay, for anyone wishing to check out the silly game demo from tonight's show. Lovable. All right. Space Blast, everyone. WASD with space to shoot. You can affect the volume, which is probably stupendous. Okay. Let's go. No sound? There we go. We got sound. Oh, shit. What? No. No. Oh, shit. What the hell? That was loud. No! Son of a bitch. I gotta try one more time. There's a boss, okay? I got a high score there. Oh, shit. Wait. Is that a health? Yeah, wait. I don't know. Was it shooting me? Wait. Oh, wait, is that a heart? Dude, it's a... I got the heart. I don't think I've... It was a ball. It was a sphere with a pyramid on it. It just looked wrong. What the hell? Oh, the boss is coming. The boss is coming. Oh, no. Oh, shit. He's got triple guns. Whoa. Die, boss. No! I've got 1 health left. Come on. Yes. I beat my own game. Now, you might wonder what happens. Oh, I died. Yeah, that's evil. It gives you the next level, but doesn't pause the game, so you get shot off screen and game over anyway. The game doesn't pause. So I made it to the new level with my I got 40,000 on level 1. Isn't that awesome? But I died and never saw level 2. Level 2 is basically just a little bit faster than level 1, you know? And then more levels is more speed, but we're actually going to do some AI stuff. I wanted a solid game that's just like an arcade game. It's not like trying to be too clever. Do you know what I mean? It's basically Space Invaders with a bit of pattern movement stuff, right? And it's all just placeholder assets right now, yeah? But it has sound, it works, do you know what I mean? There's only 3 or 4 different movement patterns, which are obviously indicated by colour. There's no stamina, so you can just fire forever. You know, normally it would be like there'd be a limit on how many shots you can take. And, I took a hit. And there's obviously a multiplier for if you don't get hit. If you don't get hit, you get mad multiplier on your score, basically. That's what I've done. Oh, things disappear if they go off the edge. It's weird because the edge is wider than the, you know. I think it's because the game was originally like Tetris. It was like tall. Oh, shit. Here he comes. Ow! Look at the size of his hitbox. Why is his hitbox so big? Quick, quick. Okay, level 2. Whoa! Oh no. I don't know what I got myself into. The you know, like the difficulty increase might be nuts. It looks pretty reasonable right now. I mean, ow. Ow. I just flew into bullets. Okay, that doesn't help. Well, Elden Ring doesn't pause either. I didn't know that. Well, there you go. It's not quite Elden Ring. Not quite. Maybe a little bit off. But one thing I did do is I said, hey, look, see this button here? I'm not taking it off. I'm in the way. You can't see it. Hang on. I'm not taking this button off. See this button here? I'm not taking it off. Normally I take it off. I'm not taking it off. What it means is if you have a lovable, you can create, you can edit. I believe what it does is it'll let you make your own fork of this game and just do whatever from here. So obviously stuff like this doesn't, it's always time limited. Do you know what I mean? Like eventually this will just disappear. That's how it is. So if you're interested and maybe you think you can turn this into something, I don't know. You should be able with your own lovable account to just basically like fork my project, I think. Because certainly you won't be able to edit it in my account. So, but I believe that's what it does. But anyway, Space Blast, like I say. I thought it would be fun to make this. And like I said, it's got sound effects. It is like a top-down Galaxian game. The idea is to then change the 3D models and do banana with the textures. So that when you're playing the game, referral of lovable, please. Good idea, mate. I'm sure I can do that. Get free credits. There's my link, everyone. What's that say? 50S67XW. I'll put it in the inside line. Inside line. I might have to make a new section for just like loads of these code things. What's it? Johnson's lovable invite. There you go. So you will find the invite code over on Discord in the inside line with all the rest of the stuff. Right, let me take one more look. See, I've been doing a bunch of stuff in here lately, guys. I think I've pretty much covered it all. I think we're good. Doubtless there'll be stuff I've missed or forgotten, but that's just the way it is. Okay, right. So I think that's pretty much it. It's time to play it out, ladies and gents. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Always a pleasure, as it is. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock for the Monday show. So, yeah. Another weekend. Can you? This year's going fast, don't you think? I'm not the only one that thinks that, right? This year is just blazing by. Where are the things? Break all of the things.
Alex, the WM
That'll
minutes
do.
deal.
Let's play it out. Thanks, everybody. See you all next time.
Stop,